Good, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the Senate Committee on Special Legislation and Veterans Affairs. We have a short agenda. Hopefully we can get through it pretty quickly, but with discussion. The first bill I want to take up is, as I see her in the virtual world, Senator Sosnowski, 558. Can you endeavor to explain your piece of legislation, Senator?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee.
Can you hold on 1 second?
Yes.
In my angst to move forward, I forgot to take the roll call. So let's take a roll call, please. Clerk.
Chairman Felag.
Present.
Senator Murray.
Present.
Senator Lawson.
Present.
Senator Bell.
Present.
Senator Mendes.
Present.
Senator Morgan. Senator Raptakis. Senator Seveny.
Here.
Chairman, we have 6 present. There is a quorum.
All right, the only issue is we don't have a minority, but hopefully maybe someone can contact Senator Valliere to make sure we're all set. So let's proceed then. Senator Sosnowski, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I appreciate you having a hearing on this bill today. I'm sure you remember, last year you and the committee had passed legislation to name the Purple Highway in South County, 4 and Route 1. And I thank you very much in the Senate and the House for passing that. This year, I was contacted by the commander of the VFW in Wakefield, VFW 916. His name is Tiger Patrick. And evidently, they were running into some problems with the signage that DOT would not allow it to be put on any type of any highway in the state of Rhode Island that was receiving federal funding. So that's why we put the legislation in as a House companion as well. Since the bills have been introduced, I'm very happy to say that the sponsors in the House and Mr. Patrick and myself met with Director Alviti at the beginning of March, and we had a virtual meeting with the Federal Highway folks in Washington and some other folks at DOT. And I just got a call just before the meeting, Mr. Chairman, from DOT, from Bob Rocchio, and it looks like they've done a lot of work, and I'm very grateful to them, but it looks like the requested signs will be installed about a month from now, April 15th. So it looks like now we should be a go, which is a good thing. So I would hope we could just, your committee, you and the committee would just hold this bill at this time. And I really appreciate all the work you've done on this. And if I could take a moment, Mr. Chairman, just to say how much it was appreciated, your comments on the floor yesterday. I was contacted by some Vietnam veterans who were extremely pleased that it was mentioned on the Senate floor yesterday. And I just wanted to mention that and thank you very much. So if you have any questions on the bill, I'd be glad to answer. Thank you.
Any questions of the sponsor? Hearing none, thank you very much. And it was great to see that we have some consensus moving forward on this piece of legislation. Is the illustration correct in terms of what the sign's going to look like, Senator?
Well, that was part of the issue, Mr. Chairman, working with the federal highway folks at DOT. There may be a different sign. There was, I guess, it's really a work in progress, if you will. But the VFW is involved in it, so we'll have the proper colors, insignia, the wording, and so forth will be on the signs.
All right, very good. Could we have a motion to hold for further study then?
So moved.
Clerk, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Senator Morgan.
Thank you, Senator Morgan. Roll call, please.
Chairman Felag.
Yes.
Senator Murray.
Yes.
Senator Lawson.
Yes.
Senator Bell.
Yes.
Senator Mendes.
All right, I'm ready to go
Yes.
on the committee. Thank you.
Senator Morgan.
Yes.
Senator Seveny.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we have 7 in the affirmative.
Thank you very much. The next piece of legislation is Senate Bill 557 by Senator Murray. Can you identify it to explain, Senator Murray?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This would rename that portion of the bike path that goes through Woonsocket after Albert P. Valliere. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on Mr. Valliere, known to me as Al. He was a resident of North Smithfield, but a lifelong Woonsocketeer at heart. He was actually one of the founding members of the organization that is now our Main Street organization, and was a downtown enthusiast as much as I am, and a great mentor to me on that board. He was also the CEO of Nationwide Construction, and he was keenly interested in building affordable housing. He did many affordable housing projects in the city. He worked with NeighborWorks. He was also particularly interested in green development and smart growth, and he was also an avid cyclist, and he would cycle every single day. And so I thought when we finally got a bike path in Woonsocket, and we seemed to be one of the last communities to do that, when he passed away back in October, you know, a lot of folks in the district, both from North Smithfield and Woonsocket, felt like it was appropriate to name the bike path after him. I've been in contact with his family. They are in full support of this. And we have a letter in support from Rhode Island Housing. He was a great champion of affordable housing and really believed in that. And so I would just ask that this be held. I am awaiting a letter of support from the city. I know that it is DEM and it's state property, but I'd really like to have that support from the municipality before this moves forward.
Thank you very much, Senator, for recognizing the letter that we received from the housing area. It seems like a worthwhile endeavor, but again, it'd be nice to have some recognition by the city council, because sometimes we have conflicts, or we'll have naming discrepancies within a community, and I usually like to see that the city council has a resolution such that it's moving forward in one unified direction. Any questions? Senator Bell?
Thank you so much, Chairman Felag. And thank you, Senator Murray, for this legislation. My question is, you know, in reference to some of the difficulties that were referenced by Chairwoman Sosnowski with the installation of signs along the Purple Heart Trail, I'm wondering if it might be helpful to ensure that similar language be placed in this legislation to make sure that RIDOT actually goes ahead and installs the requisite signage. And I'm wondering if you'd be amenable to, or if you think that that is not necessary.
I think that's certainly an important part of this, you know, that the signage, I assumed, would be included, but perhaps we can take a better look at that just to make sure that it actually happens, because it's no use naming something after someone if there's no visual representation of that and nobody knows about it. I think that would be particularly meaningful to the family as well. So thank you. Thank
you so much.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I know a lot of times we have visual problems on bike paths. One of the issues that maybe you should look at with DOT is the height of that sign. I know a lot of times they tell me on the particular bike paths in the East Bay where the height is like 6 feet high, whereas the little children riding into the bike paths don't even necessarily see the stop sign because it's located at a higher elevation than their bike level. So maybe a phone call to our ride out would be sufficient to help rectify and find out where the placement of that sign would be. Okay? So based on that recommendation, we have a motion to hold 557. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And we have a second? Second by Senator Bell. Senator 70. Roll call, please.
Chairman Felag.
Yes.
Senator Murray.
Yes.
Senator Lawson.
Yes.
Senator Bell.
Yes.
Senator Mendes.
Yes.
Senator Morgan.
Yes.
Senator Raptakis.
Yes.
Senator 70.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we have 8 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
Thank you very much. I think we have an echo on. Are we good?
Some feedback.
Very much so. Might have been 70's vote took it over. The next bill, the last bill of this afternoon, is Senate Bill 324 by Senator Gallo. I don't know if Senator Gallo's present at this time, but let me just note a couple of letters that we received. We received a letter from the Rhode Island Business Coalition opposing this piece of legislation. We received a letter from the Rhode Island Medical Society, the American Heart Association, in support of this legislation. Received a letter from Rhode Island Kids Count in favor of the legislation, and the Rhode Island Department of Health in favor and support of the legislation. We do have a few individuals that would like to speak to the committee in support of the legislation. The first individual is Dr. Amy Nunn.
No, they're not calling. I'm calling Lori now.
You're calling?
Yeah.
She hung up on us?
Hello, Laura. Are you ready to testify for Senate special legislation? All right, I'm going to transfer you over now.
She might have thought we were a crank call. Dr. Nunn?
No, Lori Stephenson.
Oh, no, this is Lori Stevenson?
Yes.
Yes.
This is Senator Felag. You're on the Special Legislation and Veterans Affairs Committee meeting. You represent the American Heart Association, I believe.
That's accurate.
And please provide your testimony in support of legislation 324.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name's Laurie Stevenson. I'm the State Advocacy Committee Chair for the American Heart Association. I'm also a mom and a congenital heart disease survivor. The American Heart Association would like to voice strong support for the Healthy Beverage Act, and we thank Senator Gallo for her leadership on this important issue. The bill would ensure that our children are offered a healthy beverage when they order a children's meal by switching the default beverage from soda and sugary drinks
On Senate Bill 324.
to milk, water, or 100% juice.
Proceed.
Consuming sugary drinks poses a health risk to our kids. Sugary drinks are the single leading source of added sugars in the American diet and are associated with an increased risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and other chronic diseases. The American Heart Association recommends children over the age of 2 have no more than 8 ounces of a sugary drink per week, yet children today are consuming as much as 10 times that amount. Despite the health risks associated with soda and other sugary drinks, the majority of the top restaurant chains' default beverage for the children's meal is a sugary drink. This bill is part of our effort to create a culture of health where the healthy choice is the easy or the default choice. It merely flips the scripts and offers children a healthy beverage first. In no way are we trying to take away any parental rights. If a special occasion and a parent wants to give their child a soda, they can certainly request it and the restaurant can provide. That is clearly spelled out in the bill. What's interesting to note is that the age of children who are most likely to eat a children's kids meal at a restaurant is the age of 2 to 5 years old. So this proposal will help them develop healthy drinking patterns early and change their existing norms in this kids meal space. The approach has proven effective and is consistent with recent efforts to ensure that Rhode Island children grow up at a healthy weight. Rhode Island has already taken steps to serve our kids better in schools and in early child care, health care settings where sugary drinks are not the norm, but healthy ones are. In closing, we know restaurants have been hit hard by COVID-19. We certainly support pushing the implementation date out post-pandemic, but I want to thank you for your time and open up for questions if you have any.
Are you aware of any establishments that have moved towards this direction? Because usually it's demand that would move something like a McDonald's or a Burger King.
The major chains to date have the options available, but it's not the default beverage. So, for example, milk could be asked for, but it's soda that's still the default. So the opportunity at these chains is there, existing today. We would just like to expand that to be more of the norm and not the default beverage. So water and milk is available in those chains today.
And also, I guess this would mean all food service establishments, whether you're a small mom and pop to the giant type things that offer children's meals, correct?
Correct.
All right.
But again, you know, this also too could, you know, just to kind of fulfill that question, the parents can still override the choice. So if it was a special occasion and, you know, there was just something going on, they could easily get the child something special.
Okay. Any questions of the committee? Senator Raptakis?
I got a quick question. I'm not sure if the witness can answer the question. When you mean children's, what age category? There's no age group. So are we talking about 12, 15, 18? Are we talking, what's the definition of a child in this bill? Because it seems like it's very broad. There's no age limit, like say a 7-year-old or maybe up to a 10-year-old.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Let me follow up with that, and we'll report back, you know, exactly what the age groups and what distinguishes what is a kid's meal and what isn't.
Right, that's the second part of my question, because what if, like, McDonald's and I think Burger King and a lot of the chains can adapt to this, because they probably already do. But my worry is what Senator Felag said earlier about all restaurants. We're talking about a small mom and pop store, and what would be defined on the menu of a child's meal? Would it be if they had a separate small hamburger that was less than the adult burger? So I'm just afraid I don't want to micromanage the operations of a lot of our small businesses. That's my concern, because you're right on the legislation being broad as far as the age. It doesn't tell us if it's up to 7 or 18. We define children up to 18 years of age, practically. So thank you.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Another thing of concern, it says that the food service establishments does not include school cafeterias. So for some reason, the school cafeterias are exempt. Senator Bell.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I actually have a different perspective than Senator Raptakis. I think that typically restaurants that market children's meals do not do them with a particular age limit. It's not like when you have like a kid's menu, they're like, well, this can only be for children 7 years or lower or anything like that. I do think that we need some clarity for restaurants to make sure that they know what a children's meal is. But I actually think if we were to use an age limit, then that might broaden this beyond the intent, and it would just apply to all meals that are given to children. But as I read this, it's a little bit narrower, and at least my interpretation is that it's a combination food and beverage that is primarily intended for consumption for children. So it would be like a separate thing on a menu that's marketed towards children, rather than every single meal served to someone under a certain age at a restaurant. And so my question is, am I correctly interpreting what it is intended to address? Is it intended to cover meals directed to people under a certain age, or is it intended to cover meals marketed towards children that are combination meals that include a beverage as part of that package?
It would be the latter. So the marketing of to children in more of this bundle meal, where it's a predetermined drink, food, snack, and maybe a toy of some sort, all in a bundle.
Right, that's my interpretation of it also. That would be whatever the major chains have their happy, whatever they call it, to be generic, in that it has a hamburger, or it has an oversized drink in with a toy or something like that to connotate one package price. We have
Senator Felag, Senator, question.
Yes, sure. I don't see your picture. That's why I didn't see your hand raised.
Yeah, I know. No, that's why I just spoke
all
up.
right,
It's more of a...
we have one more witness, but you can ask this witness a question.
Well, it really wasn't a question. It was just a statement. My feeling is, I feel that this is government overreach. A parent should be controlling what their child eats. My kids always chose milk, but it's for a parent to choose, and to limit and put in regulations of what they can serve and what they can't. I just feel it's a big government overreach in parenting, in government parenting our children. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lori, for your testimony. We have our last witness, Dr. Amy Nunn. Dr. Nunn.
Hi, this is Dr. Nunn.
Welcome to the Senate Special Legislation and Veterans Affairs Committee. We're currently on a bill that you support and asked to testify. It's Senate Bill 324 regarding the Healthy Beverage Act.
Thank you so much. My name is Amy Nunn. I'm a professor of public health and medicine at Brown University. I'm executive director of the Rhode Island Public Health Institute. I'm testifying in enthusiastic support of this bill because overconsumption of sugary beverages is the main cause of obesity among children. Believe it or not, Rhode Island has obesity rates that are on par with those of the southern United States, and they are rising in communities of color. One reason is because of predatory marketing by the beverage industry that targets communities of color. It's really important that we legislate and regulate the beverage industry, and particularly fast food, where people often overconsume calorie-rich and calorie-dense foods that have very little nutritional value. So this bill is good for children, and it's good for reducing diabetes and other food-related chronic diseases. A lot of kids eat fast food, and this bill would encourage fast food companies and other food outlets to offer healthier drinks as an option. Thank you very much.
Question, please. It seems like the legislation is focused on no more than 8 ounces. Is that because some of these packaged meals have maybe 16 ounces or 20 ounces of soda or fruit juice or something to that effect?
Yeah, one reason is that if you can imagine that a can of soda has about 10 teaspoons of sugar in it, no one needs that much sugar. It's absolutely unhealthy. And another way to discourage overconsumption of sugar and calorie-dense drinks is to regulate their size. That's the main reason. It's really easy to consume a couple of those, twice that size, 16 ounces, 24 ounces, without even really thinking about it, and overconsume sugar as a result. And that's the reason that the size is regulated.
And you mentioned fast food establishments. Is there some way the legislation could target that, or does it have to be all-encompassing?
I would favor that it be all-encompassing. I mean, think about how often we all eat out, and it's really easy for children to drink, to take in too much sugar. I think fast food is the primary culprit, but I see no harm in requiring other restaurants to offer more healthy drinks as well.
No, the reason why I asked that question is a lot of times the restaurant may have a children's meal, but they don't have it as a part of a package, so to speak, where it's a meal, a toy, and a fountain drink or whatever it's such. So that's why I asked.
I think the legislation's intent is to compel the restaurants to offer water and other less sugary options. It doesn't compel them to force people to drink those things. It compels them to make the offer.
All right.
And I don't think that will have a detrimental. I love going out to eat. I love the restaurant industry and appreciate that they've been hit really hard during the pandemic. But I think that all this does is compel them to offer healthy options, which I'm in favor of.
Thank you. Senator Bell has a question maybe directed at you or directed towards the committee, or a statement. Senator Bell?
Yeah. I think actually the way this legislation is calibrated, it specifically defines a children's meal as quote, a combination of food and beverage offered for sale together at a single price, primarily intended for consumption by children. So the way it's defined would not include a kid's menu that does not have a beverage that's part of that package as part of the same price. So it's really quite narrowly tailored towards these combination packages, and as such, I think is fairly well calibrated to primarily target the fast food industry, and would not involve a restaurant that just has a kids menu without those packaging options. So I think it's actually a fairly well thought out, well calibrated piece of legislation that has thought through many of these issues.
Thank you very much. One other, that this bill says an effective date of January 1st, 2021. I believe that would probably have to be January 1st, 2022 to give those establishments a 6-month window to get up and running with these regulations. Since the sponsor's not here, I'd like to recommend that, unless you have any other statement, Dr. Dunn? None?
I just want to say that this bill is really grounded. I'm a scientist by training, and I do public health programs now all day. this is grounded in the best scientific evidence possible, and I think I would encourage you all to vote in favor of the legislation. Thank you for the opportunity to testify before the body today.
Well, thank you for taking the time of your busy day to enlighten the committee on your testimony. So with that,
thank you.
Can we have a motion to hold for further study?
Hold.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Chairman Felag.
Yes.
Senator Murray.
Yes.
Senator Lawson.
Senator Lawson?
Senator Bell.
No.
Senator Mendes.
No.
Senator Morgan.
Yes.
Senator Raptakis.
Yes.
Senator Seveny.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, there are 5 in the affirmative, sorry, 6 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative.
Thank you very much. That concludes our business for this evening. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, can I be recorded in the affirmative on any votes that I missed the hold for further study?
Won't change the vote. I see no reason not to.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Aye.
Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.